Hi everyone! I hope that you're all doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing and commenting. I really appreciate the support. And if you want to support me further, you can do that by going to my Ko-fi link. The link is in the description below. In today's video, I wanted to speak to you about reincarnation. Apparently you guys liked the last video, did a lot, and so I wanted to kind of expand on it a little bit in certain things that I didn't speak about last time, because obviously I didn't want to speak on one subject for an hour or longer. One of the things that I think deters people from believing in the idea that they come back over and over again is this fear that, what if I'm doing it wrong over and over again? That's the reason I'm coming back to this planet. I think the fear comes from the lack of knowledge about why the scriptures, in Hinduism at least, and some other religions as well, why do they say that we come back onto this planet over and over again? What is the point? Isn't one life enough? Don't we suffer enough in one life? Isn't it hard enough? And actually, in fact, for a lot of us, the life that we're leading right now is horrendous enough. It's filled with so much pain and so much hurt that the idea of kind of coming back onto this planet over again and doing it all over again as a human, it seems like the worst thing on the planet. But if you've read any of the scriptures, or if you know a little bit about it, I haven't read all the scriptures and I'm not an expert on it. I'm just kind of giving you an idea of what I've read and what I believe and things like that. So again, please go read all this stuff on your own online. But one of the reasons why we do come back, and I said this in the last video, one of the reasons why we come back onto the planet over and over again is because we have certain experiences to learn, as our soul, our spirit has certain experiences to learn in order to reach that epitome of what that soul or spirit could be. Just like in each life, everyone has a very different path and a very different lesson plan. For example, your sister and you, even if you are your siblings and you, even though you were born in the same family and you probably lived in the same cities, in the same house a lot of your life, you probably have a very different lesson to learn in this lifetime. My sister has a lesson to learn, particularly with regards to money, I believe. And I have a lesson to learn, particularly with regards to my spirituality and my spiritual aspiration, I believe. Now, because even though we were put into the same family and we were put into the same situations mostly, we have a very different path. It actually is completely divergent. Divergent. It's completely going in the opposite direction. And we are living a very different life, even though we started off in the same spot. We were born from the same womb. We came from the same parental DNA or genetic structure. Even though we went through the same kind of things in our earlier childhood, we kind of have very different lessons to learn in this lifetime. We are on divergent paths. And so each person on this planet, every single being on this planet, I could say, not even just person, all the butterflies and the birds and the insects and the dolphins, all of them have a particular lesson to learn in this lifetime. And then you learn that lesson. If you learn that lesson, then cool, you're done with this lifetime. You can go off and go to your next lifetime after figuring out what that lesson would be for that lifetime, and then on and on and on. Sometimes that's why some people are born and they die very soon after, because they were just supposed to give a certain lesson to their parents. That's why a lot of times you say that some children come onto this planet and they're premature and then they die very quickly, or there's miscarriages, because they were just supposed to give that one impetus, that one lesson to their parents and then leave. And that was all their purpose. That was the purpose of that lifetime. And then they're going to go on to their next lifetime with another purpose, another lesson, another experience, another whatever it might be, right? One of the reasons why they say, a lot of Hinduism scriptures, a lot of scriptures in general will say, even I think Christianity says this and Islam, that it is a gift, a paramount gift to be born on this planet as a human being. It's the best gift that you could ever get. Being born as an insect, or being born as a butterfly or a bee, or I don't know, as a lion or whatever it might be. their consciousness level is not as high as a human being's consciousness level, which means that they have to work at the lesson plans that are much lower. Like the level of the lesson plans are lower than what the lesson plans are for us. For them, they do whatever they need to do, and the main, that's what the scriptures say. Now, I don't know if I actually believe this, but the main thing that a lot of the beings want to do is they want to be reborn as a human. To be born as a human is the epitome of being conscious on this planet. It is what everyone wants. Even the insects and the bees, they're working at their lives, and they're doing the best job they can in order so that they can be reborn as a human being. Because once you're born as a human being, it's not necessarily possible for you to be born or to go backwards in your consciousness level. You can't be born as a human being and then be like, all right, you didn't do a good job of it, so now you're going to be born as a bee next time around. I don't think that's possible. You can't backtrack that much, right? So once you're a human being, you're pretty much born as a human being over and over again, but the lessons that you get are different, and obviously it gets harder and harder, hopefully, so that your soul and spirit keeps on learning, keeps on growing. It's basically going through the grades, you know. First life that you go through is grade 1 or kindergarten, and you learn certain lessons. And then you go into the next level, the next life, and you're like, all right, I'm grade 2 now. I have certain other lessons to learn, and then you learn a few lessons, and then again you're reborn, and then you're in grade 11 or whatever it might be, right? And it keeps on going over and over and over again until almost the end, where you're still learning. And even when you finish all your learning and your soul is completely ready, and it kind of becomes a guardian or a spirit guide for other souls to help them go through the process, even then I'm sure there's like still learning going on, because as a soul, as a spirit, I feel like learning is continual and eternal. I believe, at least. I don't think you could ever stop learning as a soul or a spirit, because there's so much to learn. There's so much to do in this universe, in this realm, in this dimension, in other dimensions, in all the different dimensions. And so, as I said, it's a gift to be born as a human being, and I think that's one of the lessons that a lot of people are missing, is that, you know, we think of it as a curse. We think that, oh my God, this is the most terrible thing in the world. If I was born as a puppy or a dog, or like a cat, it would be so much easier. My life would be so great. You know, I wouldn't have to deal with all of this stuff that I have to deal with as a human being. Well, in fact, this is what the point is of life. The point is to deal with these things, the sufferings and the pains and the joys and the experiences, so you can learn from it, keep on growing, and then obviously move on to the next level. That's the point of it. It's not that you have an easy life, because if you have an easy life, what lessons did you learn? Nothing. And so there's really no one on this planet who really has an easy life, I wouldn't imagine, because then what lesson are they really learning? They're not learning anything, and then they're gonna have to repeat the whole system, the whole process again, because they're like, well, your spirit guide's gonna be there in between your lives. It's gonna be like, well, you didn't actually learn anything last life, because you kind of ran away from all the lessons, and so what you need to do is repeat the lesson. You have to repeat the grade. You can't just skip the grade, you have to repeat it, okay? So that's kind of, and I think the school analogy works kind of well with this, although you don't get punished if you make a mistake. That's one of the things that in the reincarnation thing, it's not that it's a punishment. The universe or God is not punishing you for being a human being or making mistakes. That's not it. We actually, in fact, I think punish ourselves in a way where we're like, I didn't learn the lesson I wanted to learn this lifetime. All right, next lifetime I want it to be harder so I can actually learn the lesson. And so we kind of make these lesson plans for ourselves. No one else does it for us. No one else is like, yeah, okay, sit down. These are all the things you need to learn. We actually sit down ourselves and we create our lesson plan ourselves, for ourselves, in between those lives that I've spoken about in the last video. So we're sitting down and we're like, all right, what lesson do I want to learn? I think last time I was filled with pride, I had so much ego, and I didn't make any friends. I didn't love enough. This time around, I want to love a lot more. And so that's going to be my lesson plan. That's my goal with this next life. That's what I want to get out of this next life. That's what grade I want to make. And so we make a lesson plan for ourselves. We go into our next life. We try as much as we can. We go through all the sufferings, all the pain, and then we might learn a lesson, we might not. If we do, then we have another lesson that we want to learn. We kind of level up a bit. If we don't, we stay at the same level and we keep on trying to learn the lesson. And sometimes it takes many lifetimes. I'm sure that there's many people, and me as well, that I've had issues with learning a particular lesson, and it's like, all right, yeah, you did not learn that lesson, I'm sorry, but you have to go back. And so you relearn the lesson, you go through the lifetime again, maybe several times, maybe 10, 15, 30, 40, 50 times. And eventually you learn the lesson, and then you level up. Okay? So that's kind of part of it. That's what I wanted to really share with you. Again, if you guys have specific questions about this, please share, because I'm just kind of sharing random tidbits of things that I think how it works. And of course, you might be like, well, yeah, this doesn't make any sense. If it doesn't make sense to you, don't even worry about it. It's not supposed to make sense to anyone. It's an idea, of course, an idea, and it's actually just an idea. So it might be completely wrong, and we might all just be completely off point or off base, but that's fine. It's just an idea to work with, okay? I hope this makes sense. I hope I was able to explain myself to you. If you have any questions, comment below. If you have any particular ideas for videos that you want me to do, comment below. And I shall see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.